So good morning, everyone. Before we hop into this video, I wanted to give you a little bit of the backstory. If you remember, or if not, you can look back, or I'll put a link to the video in the description down here. Probably a month ago or so, we had a couple. They rented a storage unit from us, and then like day 2 or 3, we got notified from our security team that they were moving in it, or living in it. Sorry. I've been up quite a long time. Right now it's probably about 6:45, 7. And yeah, just got me another cup of coffee, and I got to get back down here and get some stuff handled this morning as well, to finish out what you're going to see in this video. So they moved into the unit, and in the contract, it states that you can't do that. You can't live in it. You can't have any animals in it. Don't store food in it. Just, basic common sense stuff. And we feel totally for, people that are homeless or without a home. But we also, as business owners, we cannot have people living in there just for liability issues. If, God forbid, a fire or, a tornado or something crazy, the building collapses or whatever, we could be held liable for that. So that's why we have it all in the contract that they can't stay in there. Long story short, we end up going through the process and evicting them. Got them out after about 4 weeks or so, about 28 days, I think it took. And we learned from that lesson. Now it's immediate. If we catch you, it's immediately you're out. We don't have to go through the whole system. It's no, there's no gray area, I guess you could say. So the couple, unknowingly to us, rented a storage unit under another gentleman's name. We thought nothing of it. It's all done online, as long as they pay, we really don't think anything of it. So that's what happened. Our security team notified us that they went into the same exact unit, and they didn't come out for a little while. So immediately we kind of knew what was going on. We just kind of kept an eye on it. I told them not to react. It was like, I think 10 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night or something like that, when they showed up. So I said, hey, just give them a little time. Maybe they're just, doing something, whatever, getting whatever. So anyways, they didn't. So then I proceeded to tell them to do a drive-by. They drove by, the unit was closed up. So that tells us they're in there. Long story short, a little while later, we hear commotions on the camera. We're notified that, they're kind of like just sitting at the doorway. I'm assuming probably because it's pretty darn warm in these units. Another reason why you can't sleep in them. You could dehydrate, you could suffocate, I don't know, whatever. Anyways, they were basically sitting in the unit. We could see them. They were smoking, hanging out, appeared to be drinking, yada, yada, yada. So I'm trying to remember everything because it's been a long night. Anyways, so we contacted the police and we're like, hey, we're just going to let them handle it. And they handled it phenomenally. All we wanted was them to get their belongings and leave, or close the unit up and leave. Long story short, they got there. Come to find out, they were wanted, and basically arrested both of them on the spot. So I'm going to go ahead and play those videos next. I just wanted to share with you kind of a backstory a little bit here. I will take certain things in and out, try to hide their identity. We don't want to embarrass them whatsoever. We just want to make it very clear that, you can't sleep in these units, and this is going to be the process from here on out, and the process that worked really, really well. Sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it does. So let's get into it. So this all happened way quicker than we originally thought it would. Our security team messaged us and said, hey, the cops are on scene. And by the time we got everything pulled up onto the computer, they had already had both of them in handcuffs. Basically, the cops are going through the pat down process here just to make sure he doesn't have anything on him. And then they're going to escort him over here to the car and put him in there. And then they'll come back and get her in just 1 second. Like I stated earlier, this was not what we wanted. This was kind of out of our control. Simply, we had no clue they were wanted or had any, warrants out for their arrest. And yeah, I guess it just so happened to happen that way. But they shouldn't have came back. We already gave them one warning and evicted them once, and they chose to, re-rent the same unit under a different name. So yeah, we're going to be keeping an eye out for any future rentals on this corner one here. It seems like it's always that one corner one, but yeah, I don't know. Let's continue moving on in this video. This was like an hour and a half process that I'm going to speed up for you guys as much as possible. I muted a ton of the audio out here. Just simply there were names and date of births and all different kinds of things being said. So I don't want any of this information out there, what's true or not true. But I did make a little mistake here rewatching the video and listening to the audio. I thought she was already in handcuffs at this point, and she was not. I'm only assuming she was giving them false information because they kept going back and forth talking to her, getting information. And yeah, she was not in handcuffs, but now you're going to see them pat her down and put her in handcuffs. So they definitely figured out exactly who she was, and she must have had a warrant for her arrest as well, because she got put into the squad car here in just 1 second. So yeah, don't lie to the cops, guys. If you do, they will figure out who you are, and yeah, you'll be going for a little ride as well. Big shout out to these officers. I don't know who they were, but they did a phenomenal job, I thought, even for the folks here that unfortunately are going to jail because of their actions. They went above and beyond talking with them and working with them. You could hear throughout the video. I took a lot of it out just because it had phone numbers and stuff. But basically, all their information was in the unit, their wallet, their purse. They went ahead and got that stuff for them, and their cell phone. And the one officer is actually calling one of their friends or family members or something, and asking them if there's any way they can come down and get their stuff out of the unit, so that whenever they do get out of, the jail, they'll have their stuff at least, and they won't have to worry about it, being removed from the unit, due to our process that we go through, because now it's an immediate, everything comes out. So basically, we'd set it there, but since they're going to jail, we don't know how long. So the officer went above and beyond, and got one of their family or friends or something to actually come over here and pick up their belongings. Also got their, IDs and stuff for them, and some money as well. The gentleman said he had some money in his wallet, so they got that for him, so he would have that as well. So big shout out to the officers for doing a phenomenal job, even helping them and being understanding, that this is unfortunate for their circumstances as well. Something that took me back a little bit is these folks are trying to sleep in our unit again. They got away with it before for a little while. This time, luckily, we caught them the very first night. With that being said, they called a couple relatives or friends or whatever, and within minutes, guys, I'm not kidding you, within minutes, they had folks here on bicycles and trucks, to help get their stuff and take it and store it for them. But they're trying to sleep in a unit, but these folks won't allow them to stay at their place, or, even just park in their driveway or something, the yard, anything. Like, we're not going through like super like thunderstorm weather or anything like that. It's warm, but I mean, you could sleep outside. So it just kind of blew my mind that, they don't have a place to stay, but they can get people here very quickly to empty out their unit at, 10, 11 o'clock at night, whatever it is. So after they left, they went ahead and repositioned their truck over here. They did have a little bit of issues because once the officer left, he had the only good flashlight, and these units inside of them is extremely dark. If you can imagine how dark a cave is or something like that, yeah, if you don't have a good light, it's extremely hard to see. So this gentleman pulled his truck over there. They tried to use the headlights, but I'm assuming the truck was new to him because he couldn't figure out why the lights would not stay on when he shut the truck off. And simply, he just needed to click that switch to keep the lights on. You see him kind of figuring it out, and eventually he does figure it out here. The other person is just loading up a couple boxes, and she's, putting stuff in. It didn't seem like they had a whole lot, but yeah, you see him repositioning here once he figured out he had to keep that switch on to keep the lights on. Anyways, I want to take this moment, guys, because, God, He brings, the people that are in the darkest places out of it. And He's brought us, Savannah and I, out of a very dark place in the past. And we know that if we ever return to those dark places, that we can lean on Him, and that He will help get us out of those places once again. So if you guys would join us here in saying a prayer for these folks, that they get led out of that dark place that they're in and onto a better path. Speaking or listening to the officer talk, the gentleman had a very lengthy rap sheet. The woman kind of just sounded like she was getting mixed up in the wrong situations, and it doesn't seem like they're going to be in for very long from what I was listening to. I took it all out. But anyways, I don't want to judge anyone here. We will all be judged one day. But what I want to do is say a prayer for these folks. So if you guys would join us, Dear Heavenly Father, I don't know this lady and gentleman. All I do know is that they're in a dark place in their life right now, and they need your help, Lord, and your guidance. Lord, I pray that you place your hand upon their mind and help heal their soul or whatever they're going through, Lord, and lead them to you and lead them out of that dark place and onto the right path to betterment of their life and giving all the glory back to you, Lord. Lord, I want to also thank you for this lady and gentleman here that were kind enough to come and pick up their belongings, and it at least lets them know that somebody does care for them and is willing to go above and beyond for them, and that they are not alone in this world, Lord. There's a lot of people out there right now. They may be listening to this video. They may be watching at home, and I just pray, Lord, that you give them a clear mind and also let them know that if they're in a dark place, that you will lead them out of that dark place and onto the right path. Lord, I also want to pray for our good friend Gary down in Alabama that we gave a mower to a few years ago. Gary is rebattling cancer, and things are going really rough for Gary right now. So, Gary, you're in our thoughts and prayers. We love you. All right, guys, got one other unit cleaned out here real quick. Got our lock put back on it. You don't know, that's how we do things here. So we put green locks on any units that are available, and red locks go on if they're locked out. And then most of the time they use their own locks, but we do give them the option to rent a lock from us as well. I'm gonna pull down and get TQ real quick. This one here was a lot different, mainly because we've dealt with this tenant before, and they should have known better, because we just went through this literally a month ago with them. I'm assuming they probably live pretty close, and this is just the most convenient spot for them. But yeah, I don't know. It's weird. They can get people over here really quickly to clean stuff and, you know, get stuff picked up or whatever, but they don't have a place they can stay or even camp out in someone's lawn. I mean, if it's that bad of a situation, you know. They rented this unit, and, you know, I think it's 75 bucks. So, I mean, I know you could buy yourself a tent for well under that. And even if you needed to pitch a tent for now on one of your friend's properties or something, would be better than sleeping in one of those. Because I'm telling you right now, we were just in there a couple minutes, guys, and yes, it is 91 degrees. It's probably 105, 110 in one of those. Oh, yeah. You're not going to want to sleep in those. Literally, you would go into there, you know, go in a unit to keep rain off of you or snow or something, would be like your last resort. But yeah, got it taken care of. Unfortunately, they got themselves into a little bit of a pickle, but it's the end of the day here. We're whooped. And, you know, even though I say it's the end of the day, it's not really the end of the day. It's the end of the work day, and not really the end of the work day, because I'll start editing on this video. TQ will take one of the kids to sports, whatever, whoever has whatever tonight. It's always something. Yeah, and then we'll be back doing it tomorrow, right?
That's right. Always something.
Absolutely. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. As always,
Keep mowing.
keep growing.
Keep making money, boys.
Talk to you later.
TQ out.
Peace.
Bye. Bye.